Life is dangerous when you're a small arthropod. You might be on the menu for every animal from birds to mammals. But sometimes you just have to let go of the stress of being small and learn to adapt to the changes as they come. For the harvestman, maintaining life might mean giving up some of your most precious tools. But that's just what it takes to adapt to life, death, and taxonomy. Welcome back to Life, Death, and Taxonomy, your 13 minutes of interesting animal info. Yeah, that's right, 13. No, I'm just kidding. Just kidding. It was a little prank. It's 30.
You got me.
Yeah. But I'm Joe.
I'm sick. I'm a sick Carlos.
And today we're talking about a lanky dad who's never sad when his limbs go bad. It's almost mad the way this lad gets around like an Olympiad. But more on that later.
You're taking some creative liberties with that Olympiad nonsense.
I usually take creative liberties when I do one of these rhyme things.
But yes, I am sick, so the fact that I sound like the lead singer for Green Day is not on purpose. I can't do anything about it. I just walk a lonely road.
Yeah, we're a little echoey today because we're in a different place, but it's all going to be the same animal info.
We decided not to record in the house of Sick, which is my house right now. I know. I was hoping that the sultry baritone would come out at the end of a sickness, and we'll see after this when we edit this if it has.
There's a little bit of vocal fry.
Yeah, we'll keep it that way.
But today we're talking about the harvestman.
Harvestman,
a.k.a. the Daddy Longlegs, a.k.a. gotta be some other ones.
All right. Well, Daddy Longlegs we'll talk about that one in a little bit. But here's some things to keep on the tip of your tongue when you're talking about this harvestman situation. Papa Stretch Toes. Hashtag spider not spider. And Moranis mate, which is a super deep cut to Honey, We Shrunk Ourselves because Daddy Longlegs helps them. He's the only bug to help them and not attack them. So it's a friend of Moranis, Rick Moranis.
Even though he's not a bug and he's not a spider.
Right.
He's not an insect.
Nope, but it is an arthropod.
But yeah, so where does this line up if it's not an arachnid?
All right, well it is
an arachnid.
It is an arachnid.
It's
so
not a spider.
Let's narrow it down on the taxonomic scale. The kingdom is Animalia. Say it with me. You already did. Phylum is Arthropoda, like all spiders and crabs and things like that. The class is Arachnida. So this is not a spider, but it is an arachnid. So
like a scorpion, but not a scorpion.
Definitely, yeah, not a scorpion. Doesn't look anything like it. The order is Opiliones. Opiliones?
Sounds good.
And those are pretty much when you look at those, you're looking at what you would assume to be Daddy Longlegs. Some of them look substantially different, but all of those can technically be called Daddy Longlegs. The family is Sclerosomatidae. The genus is Nelema, and the species is Paesleri. Paesleri.
Mm-hmm.
Paesslrei. So that's an unforgivable coupling of vowels there. But yeah, the binomial nomenclature is Nelema Paesleri.
And then we're going to be talking about a lot of features that probably apply to a lot of Opiliones. Opiliones? Does that mean something with lions?
Sure.
I think so.
Has to do with opulence.
Yeah, that's what it is.
Those are rich bugs.
But yeah.
So they're also called shepherd spiders. Did you know that?
I did not.
It's because European shepherds would use stilts sometimes so that they could see their entire flock.
Huh.
Which I had no idea was an actual thing and kind of sounds made up.
Well, I wonder why they're called harvestmen. Maybe for a similar situation.
Because they've been called. I will make you harvesters of men.
Okay.
which sounds like a scary movie. All right, so let's talk about where this thing lives. This one in particular lives in North America, but you can find what would pass as a daddy longlegs all over the world, in every continent except for Antarctica. But the one that we're going to talk about is found in North America. And let me paint you a picture for what this looks like in case you've never seen a daddy longlegs before. Which, if you live in South Florida, you may not have seen a daddy longlegs before. I don't really see them outside. I don't really see them here. I usually see them in like North Carolina area.
Yeah, usually when I see daddy longlegs, they're the other one. The
cellar spiders.
Yeah.
Yeah, so there was a Mythbusters episode where they tested the idea that Papa Stretch Toes was the most venomous spider alive. You know that myth?
Yeah.
I've heard that so many times.
They're the most venomous spider, but they can't break human skin.
Yeah, they don't have a mouth or something like that, or they just. But other than that, their venom, if it got into you, would kill you.
Right.
And they concluded that it didn't have a mouth that was big enough to bite you. The Mythbusters did. And Adam and Jamie were wrong on several levels. Like home on the range levels. Like several different aspects were wrong. Number one, harvestmen are not spiders.
Right.
Number two, they definitely have mouths and fangs. And number three, they have no venom glands. So there's no venom in them at all.
Yeah. They're mostly scavengers.
Yeah, they eat dead things. They sometimes will kill insects and eat them.
Sometimes they'll predate. Sometimes they'll ambush.
Which is unique for arachnids, because apparently most of them are just sole predators. But these guys will eat fecal matter, rotting anything, corpses.
Even some plant material.
Yeah, they'll eat plants. So the name daddy longlegs is given to both harvestmen and cellar spiders, like we mentioned before. I used to think that cellar spiders were called mommy longlegs because they were just smaller and lighter toned, but had the same general shape, like really tiny body, really long legs, which is what you should, if you have never seen a daddy longlegs before, be thinking of. A spider, essentially, with a very small, like, round body and huge legs that are just, like, the radius of which are many, many times greater than the body itself. But the difference between cellar spiders, which, is that one of those perfect words? Cellar spiders?
The D is probably...
It's cellar door. No, yeah, there's D in cellar door.
That's true.
So the cellar spiders have a distinct head/thorax like spiders do, and an abdomen. So if you look at them, you can tell the difference. That you have this round part in the front, and then you have kind of an elongated part on the back. That makes them spiders. Daddy Two Shoes has a head that looks fused to the abdomen, so it's all like one M&M, like kind of an oblong M&M,
like a jelly bean,
but less oblong than a jelly bean and more oblong than an M&M. So just find your
a peanut M&M.
There you go. The peanut M&Ms are they're not consistent.
Yeah, they're all over the place.
You just never know where the peanut's going to be. And so, yeah, like a tiny ball with legs sprouting out from it. They only have 2 eyes, harvestmen do, instead of 8 like the average spider, or like all spiders do.
And they're real small and beady and almost cute.
They're almost cute, and they're almost useless because they can't form images.
Yeah.
So they're light-sensing organs, essentially, kind of like a jellyfish has.
Do you have / know how they get around without being able to form images with their eyeballs?
They use their front legs as kind of like sensory blind man stick walking antenna things. They feel the ground in front of them, and because they mostly eat stuff that doesn't move, like dead things, they don't need to catch very much. Mm-hmm. Not really ambush predators, even though they can.
Yeah,
and they are pretty fast because they have long legs. They sometimes have a reddish body. The ones that I've noticed. Like up in North Carolina, Tennessee area, they have a reddish body with black legs. And back when I used to go to summer camp in North Carolina, we would take these guys and throw them at each other.
Good.
Well, like not like chuck them, but just kind of like lob a spider
like,
that you found
a spider.
onto somebody. And there was always somebody who was just not okay with spiders and would freak out. We were nice like that.
A good thing that it wasn't a spider.
Yeah. Didn't know that. Also, that was back in the time when I thought that they were the most venomous spider ever. They just couldn't bite you.
So, speaking of legs, and if you have this, stop me. Their legs have many segments on the ends of them so that they can essentially wrap around things. So, typical spiders will have a few segments at the bottom and then a knee,
Mm-hmm.
A few segments in their legs to walk around.
Yeah.
But these guys have like 12 or so segments in the bottom half of their leg.
So it's like vertebra.
Yeah. So it allows it to wrap around so they can walk like upside down on a stick and just wrap it around like a three-toed sloth. And at the end of the leg, there's a little hook.
That seems unnecessary since almost all spiders can walk upside down with no problem.
It's good for all terrain, apparently.
It seems like you wouldn't need if you had like the spider's like clinging ability, or it's not an arachnid's clinging ability. You wouldn't need to like use a prehensile end of your foot to wrap around like a monkey's tail. But maybe it doesn't have the sticky power of spiders because it's not a spider.
Yeah.
So I guess that brings us to like how big is it?
Okay. Well, just in time, I've got a segment, and it happens to be the best segment of this show.
Just in time for what?
Just in time for your need to know how big it is.
Oh, good.
And the name of that segment is 3, 2, 1. Measure up!
Sorry, I'm sick.
This will make you feel better.
Good.
So, let's talk about body length. They are 7 millimeters / 0.28 inches. Given that,
Good, you picked the same metrics as me.
how many harvestman bodies go into the width of a deer? A John Deere T670 harvester cutting platform, that is. So the cutting platform on a John Deere harvester.
Because this is a harvestman.
Yes.
So it works out.
Speaking of, before you answer that, this is the high end of the average 7 millimeters. They can be very small, and one species can be a lot bigger. So, but this is the large end of the average. And I also have a hint.
This is just their body, right?
Yeah. So I have a hint for you to help you along your journey. The T670 has a grain tank that can hold 11,000 liters of grain.
That's good. So when I factor in the grain into the length, the width of this John Deere harvester, I get nothing.
Well, it's a large tank, which means it harvests a lot.
Sure.
Which means the harvester cutting platform might be substantial.
All right, I'm gonna say it's 10 feet across, because for head arithmetic reasons, and that would make it 120 inches, which I'll multiply by 4, because this is about a quarter of an inch, and that would get me 480.
So it's about 7 meters long.
Whoa.
The harvester, yeah.
Yeah, whoa, never mind.
So that's...
I was picturing like a riding lawnmower.
No, it's like an industrial harvester.
Shows how much I know about farm things.
You thought something that like 10 feet long is threshing like 11,000 liters of grain?
And how much time? You didn't give me a time period.
So
in a minute, then yeah, I would have to have done something. But all day, you give riding lawnmower all day, it can thresh a lot of grain.
Your tank would be bigger than the thresher.
I don't know. You didn't say how big the tank was.
I just imagine that's a lot of grain.
Sure.
Anyway,
I'm very wrong. Can I redo my arithmetic?
No, it's 1,086 harvestman bodies.
It's twice as many as I guessed, so that's not that bad. It's not as bad as my mongoose
You
situation.
get a 50%. Let's talk about their aggregations.
Oh, I thought you were gonna do how big it is with its legs.
No, you can't. You can't prepare for this quiz.
Oh no! Oh no!
So aggregation, it's kind of rare for spiders to congregate into social groups, but these are not spiders. So they will congregate into kind of large gatherings, usually near water. And one species, which is called the Eupnoi, Eupnoi, what a travesty of language, can gather in groups of 70,000 or more.
I've heard this term as gregarious.
Yeah.
Which means that harvestmen will always bring macaroons to a party.
They're very gregarious. So 70,000 or more. If those harvestmen were raving human football fans, how many FAU stadiums, home of the Florida Atlantic University Owls, and a place that you have been, could that fill?
I'm so... Particularly whenever I tell someone how bad I am at estimating large numbers, I use stadiums like to demonstrate.
So I have two hints. One I'll give you right now.
No, it's not going to help.
And the second I will only give you if you are floundering.
But both of them are not.
The first one is FAU Stadium was built to be able to handle a future addition that could double its capacity.
Sure. How you said 70,000?
Yeah.
I'm gonna say 2.5. No, wait. 3.5.
Okay.
Yeah.
Would you like to have the second hint?
I'm not floundering that bad. There's no way. Wait. I thought it was 20,000 people could fit into that stadium. Is that a lot? Is that like that? Maybe that's the max. Maybe that's giant stadium.
I kind of just want to give the hint.
Fine, give the hint. I don't even care anymore.
The hint is that at the time of building, the stadium, FAU Stadium, was built to be able to have to hold every FAU student.
Whoa. Okay, so 1.
How many FAU students do you think there are?
I think there are 68,000 FAU students.
You're thinking of UCF,
Am I?
Which is one of the largest universities.
Okay, 2. 2 is my final answer.
It is 2 1/3 stadiums.
Okay, there we go.
So it can hold 30,000, and there are 30,000 FAU students, and it can be like it can go to 60,000 if the college grew that much.
Look how good I did.
Yeah.
Third time's a charm. Although 3.5 is not super off, but I guess the range, like it was 3.5 and then 1 and then 2, so pretty much runs the whole gamut.
I like how you thought it was 60,000 students.
All right, now I know more about football stadiums.
And Daddy Longlegs.
And harvestmen. So, we already talked about what they ate. We didn't mention fungi, but they do eat fungi. They're omnivores. They eat almost anything. And I have one last fast fact before we get to the major fact, and that is that they sometimes perform parthenogenesis.
It's one of my favorite Genesises.
Really?
Right after
The one in the Bible?
Oh yeah, I guess it's third favorite.
What's your second favorite?
My second favorite is
The Psychogenesis?
Genesis from dang.
You haven't thought this through.
I was gonna say Phil Collins Genesis.
Ooh, okay. So it's Genesis, first book in the Bible. Then which one is it? Phil Collins or Sega?
I think it might be Parthenogenesis right after Phil Collins. Sega Genesis might be last.
Oh, okay. I think I would have to agree
after
with
anyone named Genesis.
I don't know anyone named Genesis, so we'll keep it at that. And if you recognize parthenogenesis, it's because you've been listening to our other episodes, so thank you. Some of the other animals that have made appearances on this show have the ability to lay eggs without having them be fertilized. They can just kind of asexually clone themselves, much like our friend, the lonely lizard lady gecko thing.
Yeah.
From a couple episodes ago, the morning gecko.
Yes.
So that is an interesting thing that these little guys can do, despite how gregarious they are.
Yeah.
Sometimes they can just plop one out.
Well, they also will mate. Most of them mate, but they will also mate twice to increase the odds, so to speak, of having eggs, good eggs. And
good egg.
you know how the male signals to the female like we should try one more time just to make sure. He shakes her little her sensory legs. He shakes her legs. It's like, excuse me.
Shake a leg. Excuse me. I can't see anything. All I see is just black and gray and white mush.
It's like tapping her on the shoulder because she can't see
She
either.
can't see either.
Here's your sensory legs and shake them. and then the males will also protect the area around a female and her eggs, and he'll defend the egg clutch. So it's less primordial than other spiders that like kill and eat each other after.
Except the word "other" doesn't fit because it's not a spider. It's a higher higher arachnidae.
Yeah.
Harvest man, not a spider won't hurt your gran. Lose a leg, any size. No need to look out. It's just a harvest man. There, I got my song.
I noticed you said lose a leg. Let's talk about why that makes sense.
You can shake a leg or you can lose it. Major fact time.
All right. So the daddy longlegs have an interesting item in their arsenal of defensive mechanisms. Harvestmen are lanky dudes that are more leg than anything else, which is good for getting around, but bad when predators attack. Because they're likely, like me, when faced with a bucket of Kentucky Fried Chicken, to grab a leg. So what's a leggy boy to do when a predator is pulling your leg? They engage in a phenomenon called autotomy. I keep wanting to say autonomy.
Like a human would.
No, it's autotomy. So this is when they choose to lose a limb on a whim, or to escape with your life when a predator attacks.
The whimsy of this harvest man.
I'll just pop off a limb. Lose my summer weight. I mean, my winter weight. All right, so harvestmen
Gotta lose those lbs.
Harvestmen can choose to detach a leg on an area like close to the body where the leg meets the body. And the leg continues to wriggle and writhe on the ground to distract predators. So similar to like what lizards do when you grab their tail and they pop off. That might be a thing that Floridians know really well and no one else does.
Interestingly enough, I saw a picture of a harvestman eating a skink's tail.
Yes.
And I was like, this, I don't think it's ironic. I think it's just perfect.
Full circle.
Yeah, I think that's how it works.
So the only difference is that the spider legs don't grow back and tails from lizards do. That sort of puts a damper on your thing, like your life. Losing a tail is embarrassing for a lizard, but it grows back.
Sometimes. For a period of time, it's embarrassing, and then the other lizards just forget that you ever lost your tail in the first place.
It's
and
like,
you can,
all right, this one's pretty good. This new one, okay.
You can regain your social equity.
Right. But a leg is significantly more critical for an arachnid that hunts by predation or ambush or needs to get around to find scavenging items. Mm-hmm. So luckily, a harvestman is very adaptable to the Lieutenant Dan lifestyle.
Nice.
First, Legolas will spend some time stumbling around. So as soon as they lose it, they're gonna have a bad time. But a daddy can be back to his normal walking speed within 24 hours of losing the limb.
He just has to. He needs a montage with the final countdown playing in the background.
Yeah, exactly. So, and after this, he might walk completely differently than he used to. A graduate student at UC Berkeley studied the way harvestmen walk after losing a limb.
I can't. I don't even want to think about how they tested this.
They didn't pull off the legs. They just held the legs until the harvestman decided to let go. So
those poor things.
They can bob up and down. They can tap their body on the ground, or they can wobble around to get from point A to point B. And they can lose as many as 3 legs and maintain their normal walking speed. So an 8-legged arachnid can go to a 5-leg daddy and keep going.
It probably depends on which legs it loses. If it loses 3 legs on one side, it probably can't get to that speed. Because then it has 4 legs on one side and then 1 leg on the other side, and there's going to be problems.
From the videos, it looked like they were symmetrically removing legs.
Yeah, so if it was all on...
But it was all in the front.
It's like, man, my left flank, I just keep getting attacked by, I don't know, lizards?
He's got a blind spot.
Yeah.
On his left, which is and also his right, and also his front.
And also right in front of him.
Most daddies lose their legs at some point in their life. So, like, most daddy longlegs that are grown to be a ripe old age will have a missing leg.
That's how you know they've earned their stripes.
Right.
The ripe old age of 1 year, I heard. That's actually feels like a really long time for a little thing.
Yeah. But it's a small price to pay for survival, right? So.
True. I guess I'd rather lose a leg than die.
Same.
Is that all you got?
That is all I got.
All right, so you out there, go and harvest men in the biblical sense. Don't fret about a few dismembered limbs. And above all, be gregarious. Like we are here in life, death, and taxonomy.
You know what time of year it is? It's harvest, man. Also known as fall. Also known as autumn. And that means it's time to pay an arm and a leg for costumes, candy, and pumpkin-spiced concoctions. But you know what doesn't cost an arm and a leg? Quality internet broadcasting edutainment like life, death, and taxonomy. While you're listening, don't forget to leave us a little review on your local podcast app to help us keep warm as the air gets colder. Well, we live in Florida, so it's pretty much just extra summer with more plastic pumpkins, but you get the metaphor. Anyway, happy listening and happy fall. Definitely don't harvest men in a non-biblical sense, because that sounds dangerous and bad.
Yeah, that sounds like a scary movie for sure.